We saw our folks out there visiting with the community, and so we'll continue to be out there. Our folks are out at the gas stations. There were plenty of open pumps. There's still gas coming in. So if you're concerned about that, don't be. We are in a very good position here in Indian River County. Please direct all storm-related calls to the 24-hour hotline, 772-226-4000. I did spend some time in dispatch this morning. That is an ongoing concern. Speaking with Vero Beach Police Department, their dispatch center has been inundated with calls about storm-related questions. 911 is not the proper use. If you have storm questions, please do not dial 911. Obviously, if you have an emergency, that's definitely a 911 call. But if you have storm-related questions, anything related to the hurricane, please call 772-226-4000. With that, I'll turn it over to County Administrator John Tikanich.
Good afternoon, John Tikanich. Just want to make a couple statements. Just remind everybody there are special needs shelter, which at Treasure Coast Elementary you'll need to register. Anybody that's looking for the specific shelter locations, you can find that on indianriver.gov. There's a red banner at the top of that page. You'll see information. Make your way down to the shelter link, and then I'll provide that information, and you'll need to register for that. We do want to thank our community partners, Florida Department of Health, the school district, the sheriff's office, Senior Resource Association that's making the shelters possible. As Chief Lloyd said, we have 5 general population shelters, plus we have our the special needs shelters. In terms of county administration and the Board of County Commission officers, they're closed as of 1 p.m. today. We do expect to reopen Friday morning, depending on conditions. Essential county personnel will be available and remain on duty throughout the storm. The property appraiser's office and tax collector's office will be closing at 3 p.m. The county courthouse is closed. They closed at noon today. And then I would just have been asked to make one clarification. The county does not distribute sandbags or have sand locations. Use of sandbags to prevent water from seeping out of buildings or into buildings are not generally effective. They are more effective in controlling the flow of moving water. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dave Johnson, our chief.
Good afternoon. Seems like everything's been covered. I just want to thank our first responders out there for being on the front line, being out there ahead of the storm to get people prepared. This storm is a monster. We have to be prepared. Even though we're not in the crosshairs of this thing, we have to be prepared. Today is your day of preparation. Get things done today. If you cannot stay in your home, get to a shelter. If you have family and friends who cannot stay in their homes, make sure they get to a shelter. This is going to be a dangerous storm, and we cannot emphasize that enough. So please get to a shelter or get prepared and get ready. This is a monster. So this is something we've never seen in Florida in recorded history. So even though it's striking on the West Coast, we're going to have the effects over here. So please, please, please be ready. So thank you.
We'll take questions.
Are there any, well, last night when I was at Home Depot, saw a lot of people coming out with stands. Are there going to be any county organized sandbag stations or anything like that?
No, ma'am, there will not be.
When you say special needs shelter, what are you referring to?
People that may have physical handicaps or maybe they're elderly and they have special needs, and therefore but they do have to register in advance. You can find that link on the website indianriver.gov, red banner up top. Click it, follow it down to sheltering. Give you the locations of everyone. Our special needs shelter is located at Treasure Coast Elementary over on 510. But you need to register, but it's for those that may have special needs.
And for those who don't have special needs, do they need to register, or they can just kind of walk in?
No, they can just show up, and they are opening in about 21 minutes, the other 5 general population shelters. And we mentioned the Freshman Learning Center. There's 2 shelters there. The 800 wing is for our pet-friendly, and then the remainder is for regular general population.
So for the pet one, no one needs to register either? Just
No.
to clarify. Okay.
No. Yeah.
Can you talk more about the flood-prone areas? Would those be areas east of US 1?
So areas east of US 1 is certainly a flood-prone area. However, there are other flood-prone areas throughout the county. We have FEMA flood maps that are available online that anybody can go and enter an address to determine whether or not that they are in a high flood zone. Can I just speak just real quick on the special needs shelter? There's a few things. Just to give some examples, what I'm about ready to tell you is not an all-inclusive list, but a lot of times our special need evacuees, they're either electrical dependent, oxygen dependent, they could be dialysis patients or be on nebulizers. And again, that's not an all-inclusive, but maybe just to give a little bit of an idea of a lot of the population that comes in.
Do you anticipate any mandatory evacuations being ordered?
None at this time. We have not had any discussions about any mandatory evacuations as of now. We're just asking that folks who are in vulnerable housing, the items that they talked about, if they would make the consideration, if they feel that they need to be in a safer place, the shelters are available.
And you mentioned that there are some evacuees from the West Coast. Is there an influx of people? Is there a specific number? Do you expect more?
The shelter's open at 2 o'clock today. I can probably give you a better answer on that a little bit later on, but obviously we know that there's going to be a shortage of hotel rooms. We know that there's going to be a difficulty for some folks that are evacuating from the West Coast. So that's one of the things and one of the reasons why we opened up so many shelters this particular storm.
I'd also say that in my travels today, speaking with Sam's Club, Walmart, the management teams, they all noticed that there was an influx of folks from the West Coast yesterday, that they felt like they were coming in to purchase water, supplies, things that just weren't available on the West Coast and that our East Coast still had readily available. So it feels as though, I mean, I have no data to back it up, but it feels as though it's our regular population that's out at the stores today. Like I said, there's still plenty of things available, but I believe that the surge from the West Coast really happened over the last couple of days.
Any update if the bridges will be closed?
The question, right? That's the question everybody asks. Our cell phones ring all night and all day about that question. When will the bridges close? We have not had a discussion about closing the bridges. It's something that we will have a conversation about. The biggest thing is I never want to restrict movement of the people. You know, that's not really a good government thing. Unfortunately, though, there may come a time when the bridges are not passable, when it's not safe. We will let you know in advance before we do anything like that. And I would think that as the storm winds kick in, you know, if we're talking about 9 o'clock tomorrow night, I would think that in the midnight hours of Thursday, we would probably start to see a time where we let you know that it's not safe to cross bridges anymore. It's going to be a time when our deputies aren't going across bridges, when police aren't going across bridges, when fire trucks aren't going across bridges. That's when it's not going to be safe for the public to go across those bridges either. So I'd look for that sometime tomorrow, late in the middle of the night.
What is the county doing to keep water and power on?
I think the question was, what is the county doing to keep water and power on? Is that correct? Okay. In terms of, I can speak very much right now for power. When we do a level 1 activation, we have a direct relationship with the Florida Power and Light, and we will have representation in here tomorrow morning from FP&L throughout the entirety of the duration. Obviously, FP&L is going to be staging folks as well as many other electrical companies and resources around the state. In terms of water, we are currently not aware of any water shortages in our area. However, if a water shortage were to become needed, then we can order those resources from the state of Florida, and if it's something that is a community need, we can set up pod sites, and that's called point of distribution sites, where water could be distributed. As of right now, we don't see that as being a potential problem. However, it's a resource that we can have readily available.
I would also add that our county staff, utility staff, you know, they'll be working around the clock, you know, in shifts to make sure our water treatment plants are up and running. We also have staff that will be available. Obviously, they can only go out no different than our first responders up to a certain point with the winds, but they will be available to maintain our facilities and to be able to respond in the aftermath if we do find a drop in pressure and maybe there's one of the lines breaks.
Folks, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for paying attention. Please continue to stay calm and be safe out on the roads. Be kind to each other. We'll see you back here tomorrow about 1:30, about the same time. Thank you.